on tonight. I hope everyone out there is doing fine. I am good. Got metal with me as the course is per usual, but there's nothing wrong with that either, of course. So we are doing. Well, I am trying to finish up my card thing, so I'm gonna be doing it all week till I finish it, hopefully, except for Thursday morning. But hopefully, I have it done by then. Well, I'll have it. I'm positive I'll have it all drawn in. And how are you two? Yeah. Well, seeing as how I only got like about 6 characters left to do, I think on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, maybe 8 characters. But I'm probably gonna get at least half of those done tonight. So. And I should get the rest done tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, high noon. And I should be sharing this out before I go any further. So how was the rest of your weekend from Saturday? Well, no, actually, we were. Yeah, I was just realizing that after I said that. Yeah. Apparently, it was one crazy night at this point. Seeing as how I can't even remember it. Well, I remember it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Plus. Oh, okay. Oh. Well, that's definitely good that there's a functional English translation that you can. Yeah. I don't mind subtitles a little bit, but like you said, you end up focusing more on the subtitles than anything else to make sure you can read them and get the gist of what everybody's saying. That's the part I. Yeah. Yeah, I usually end up. Yeah. Heck, I usually end up, unfortunately, when the subtitles, I usually end up pausing to read the subtitles. Pause, go for 2 seconds, pause. I hate subtitles. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times I just. But lately, when I've been recording, I usually read the text and try and give it some sort of flair. Cool. Say something about something, but I forget what. Um, Now what to talk about? 7 minutes in, we have nothing to talk about. Sometimes we make it up as we go along, or I do. Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like a monster version of what's the name of it? Walking Dead. Except not, except they're not traveling. Or I don't think they're traveling yet. Oh, cool. Oh, I know what I was gonna ask about. How decent is Red Dead Redemption Online? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. That's why I was asking. It's like $8 for me, and I was thinking about doing it earlier. They're like, uh, yeah. Oh, I guess there is my question. Do you know whether you have to pay every month once you get it for the like the fiber book? Okay. Because I was thinking. Okay, because I was thinking maybe another game we can possibly add to our repertoire if we both wanted to play it. If we can play together too. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I'll spend $7 or $8 for it. Yeah. Yeah, I seen a commercial for it when I was watching something else, or it was an ad here on YouTube for something. So maybe I might grab it. It depends on whether I can pay for it through PayPal or not. I've got enough of my PayPal to pay for it. Although recently, what did I get for $5 or something like that on? Well, maybe not so recently. Oh, probably Dragon's Age. I got Dragon's Age Origins for like $5 through Steam. So yeah, maybe. Well, if you're gonna get it, maybe I will get it too. We can go through it together. Although you might end up going through it faster than me. Sometimes you play well. Oh. Yeah, I just wasn't so sure about it. And a bunch of things. So maybe like for $8, $7 or $8. Because I seen it for 5 at first as well. Then of course, Canadian. They gotta switch it. Yeah, yeah. It was saying like $30 for me. So it's like, okay, can I? Do I want to get this and save $30 now, or ever purchase it? I'm not sure whether if it wasn't on for sale. I'm not sure whether I'd ever purchase it. So. Okay. Yeah, I've played a few of those games. I don't mind some of them, although, like, there was this one in the, I forget what it was called, arcade that I used to play a lot. I think it was a police one. You go through airports and different other places. Yeah, probably. I've heard of Time Crisis. I don't think I've ever played it. Yeah. Well, I know a good comparison for it. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, in the arcade. Probably because it's just a franchise that they know and all that. So yeah. So it probably ends up being part of it. Hello, Marsupio, and hello, Space Galleria. How are you both? Actually, let's see whether can I even find it again. Um, Talking about it. Oh, probably not. No.
I've been talking to you this entire time, Rick, and your desktop audio has not been on.
Rick, is this for Christmas? Yes, it is. Well, I take it you're talking about my drawing thing, yeah. Well, I need to redo that guy Crimebuster's legs.
I was talking about this interesting show I was watching, and absolutely nobody heard it.
Or very little.
Yeah.
Well, not nobody. I heard it.
Oh, yeah, you heard it. Then I was ripping on the Terminator 2 rail shooter game for the arcade because there are way better ones, but everybody always wanted to play that one.
Marsupio said, laugh out loud. I was going to say, it seemed like a one-sided conversation.
Now he wants you to repeat everything I just said before.
Rick, tell us everything Metal just said. Well, how about we let Metal tell everything Metal just said?
I have to start all the way over from the beginning.
Well, we were talking about Red Dead Redemption Online because they've got it on sale right now.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and how like the sale was the only reason I was interested in it, and then also the same for you.
Yeah.
You could American, you could pick it up for like $5.
Yeah, so like
at the moment. Like 8 for you.
Yeah, 7 or 8. Let's see.
But the reason we even got onto rail shooters is because I said I will never upgrade to Red Dead Redemption 2, the full game. I only want the online. Because like the entire end of that game, the last half of it, is basically just you going from one shooting gallery to another. That's how all the missions are. And it's really boring. And then like the ending's kind of predictable.
Just the online part, Marsupio.
Yeah, it's only the online. If you want to upgrade to Red Dead Redemption 2, it costs more. That's not on sale.
Figures. Gonna create an account. Let's see. Can we do this with my Google?
I don't want to purchase it unless go and grab my hard drive because I don't like turning Steam on when my hard drive's not plugged in.
Well, I'm
That's
not
when I
too.
install all my games onto. I'll do it later. But oh yeah, the other thing I was talking about when I first came in was that I'm watching a show on Netflix. That's what I did for most of the day while I was working on other things. Was I was binge watching a horror show called Sweet Home that's based off of a webtoon of the same name. It was pretty good. It's Korean, but it's completely dubbed into English. And it's about like everyone in the world is turning into monsters, and these people that are stuck in an apartment complex kind of have to try to survive. That were what do you say complex? So like one of those high-rise apartment units, and they have to try to survive while some people are also turning into monsters themselves. You got my hopes up and then dash them on the rocks like a rotten butternut squash. Okay, yeah. Was there a Sweet Home game? Because I'm watching this thing. Looks like the type of setup that would be fun as a game. It's got like some heavy Silent Hill vibes to it, but the monsters are like way more extreme.
Don't mind me. I'm just typing.
The Capcom on the Famicom in the late '80s. This looks interesting. Wait, isn't that the progenitor to Resident Evil, right? I've seen this. I just haven't seen the English name for it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's because the Japanese name just means sweet home. Yeah.
Sweet Home Alabama. Okay, well, where is anything coming up there? Oh, yes, PayPal.
Yeah, it's a Suito Homo, which there's a lot of older things that before I understood how Japanese people said English words, I completely never paid attention that they were just the way that Japanese people say English words, like the manga Poruto. Later that I found out, oh, that was supposed to be Pluto. That's just how a Japanese person would pronounce it. I'm like, what does this mean?
Okay, so let's see.
But yeah, I would say it's a pretty good show. I'd recommend it. I'm only on episode 6 out of 10, but it's pretty interesting.
Okay, we'll open with that later. I don't want to interfere with anything. And actually, this, well, I'm not even sure whether we're doing a games night this week.
That is up to you.
The only reason I say that is because, it's Christmas Day, Christmas night.
Yeah, but it's like the night of Christmas Day. No, when it comes to Christmas for nighttime, only anybody cares about Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So again, that's up to you. If you're doing something that night, then we won't be doing it. But I should be free.
Okay. Well, maybe we will.
Because as far as I know, the only thing I'm doing at night is Christmas Eve.
Then again,
and that's hanging out with my family.
Then again, this is an unusual year too, in the fact that sometimes people go over to family houses for Christmas dinner, but this year, depending on where you are, that could be illegal. Not that it would stop a lot of people.
It's never stopped me.
Well, I've got family, but if, they might are actually doing Christmas dinner, I might go over, but because in this case, it wouldn't stop me either.
Of course, where I am, it's technically illegal to make that illegal.
Oh, technically here too, but that's not stopping them. Great drawing, right?
Gothic art says, yeah.
Yeah, that's got a lot of detail. Yeah, this is going to be my Christmas card. Soon as I get like about 8 more characters in here, I think, and redo the manger, I'm gonna scan it in, and then I'm gonna color it, and then somewhere on it I'm gonna have Merry Christmas. I'll probably do 2 different versions: Merry Christmas from Cross Comics and Merry Christmas from Rick Piper. And depending on who you are, it will depend on which one you get.
Ostriches in Stardew Valley, you say, Marsupial? Are they like dinosaurs and chickens? Do you get eggs from the ostriches, or do you kill them?
There are ostriches now in Stardew Valley. That's all that matters. Okay.
Stardew Valley is a game.
Oh, okay.
It's like Harvest Moon. Like, literally like Harvest Moon. But with more stuff to do.
So, yeah, I guess if we're going to do it Friday night, of course, we're going to be playing League of Legends. As long as it's not...
I'm taking Rick down a very dark rabbit hole. You all should join us.
Hopefully I'll level up quite a bit. Get my characters...
Rick, I'm far more concerned with you actually figuring out how to play the game than you leveling up at this point.
Okay. You be concerned with that. I'll be concerned with what I want to do. Although I think I've gotten a little bit of it. Although I haven't played it since Friday or Saturday, whichever it was that we played together.
Friday, I think, because I was like immediately after it done, it's like, oh, I don't know what you're gonna do, but I'm gonna go play some League.
Yeah, and then I said, can I play one? They're farmable. Oh, the ostriches, yeah. Well, in real life they are, so I don't know why they wouldn't be in the game.
Well, sometimes there are things that aren't farmable in real life that are in games, so why wouldn't it be the other way around?
True.
I mean, you can farm dinosaurs.
Yeah, I would love to get... That's a game that I want to get to. Arc.
Oh yeah, Ark.
It's just a little too much at the moment.
Ark's one of those games that it looks fun, but I don't think I would enjoy it unless I was playing with a bunch of people that I knew. Like, I don't think I could get enjoyment out of it by myself.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure whether you're at first. I think you got to probably build up to a point where you can play with others. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure in Ark you can just join a server right away. Because Ark is like Rust and Minecraft and a lot of stuff like that. You just kind of like join a server and do stuff. And the stuff is like tied to the server, so you can have like dinosaurs and bases and stuff like that.
Eagle says, Rick, we need to delete all the movie night chats. Why?
Didn't he already do that?
No, he just deleted. He just deleted his.
Oh.
He can't delete ours, especially mine.
Oh, he didn't delete all of them. He left some in there about all the things trying to get you to betray your teammates. Trying to get the person who would be the least capable of betraying his teammates to try to betray his teammates.
Marsupial says, hold on, archiving all movie night chats. Raggedy posted a weird article, Rick. He did? Let's see. Okay, where did he post this? I don't see Raggedy having posted. I was never there. If any one asked, Pulp it's Marsupial. You do know Marsupial's right here, and he can see that and ultimately deny it. In fact, he can probably prove it's not him. It's on the Discord. It's only an image. Where on the Discord? Because that's where I looked. Movie night suggestions and watching stuff together. I see a bunch of your stuff. I don't even see Raggedy's name on here. In either movie night suggestions or watching stuff together.
He was never there. It's all an illusion. Eagle's trying to confuse you. Or you could check the general chat.
Coronavirus relief bill makes illegal streaming a felony. Okay. What is illegal streaming, though?
What you do all the time? we call that piracy, Rick.
Well, see, downloading, is that streaming? I'm not streaming nothing at that point.
Well, if you're streaming it across Discord to other people, you are.
Oh, yeah.
You just became Kiss Anime, just with a smaller audience.
But then again, wouldn't somebody have to report me in my own chat?
Technically, I just did. If they're watching this stream right now.
Yeah, but then again, is there proof of it? Because Discord doesn't actually hold that stuff. After it's done, it's done. I don't think, anyways. I could be wrong. I don't know all the technicalities of Discord.
No, I don't think there's any record of that. They would have to just take my word on it.
Because that just ends up being like, you came over to my house and watched it. Although, my house is a few thousand miles away from your place,
But here's the problem. Piracy of downloading like that is already a felony.
Yeah, there's that too. Well,
they didn't need any special bill to do that. That was already the case.
betraying, right?
Oh, you weren't talking to Evan, right?
No, I haven't talked to him in a...
Oh, he's in the chat, in your general. He's like, is that an Evan Hotep I see before me? No, that's Kyle the Crusader. He changed his visual name to Evan Hotep like a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in Dillard's chat earlier for Scribbattle. Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know whether it's changed.
Was Evan in the chat?
Pardon?
It was Evan in the Scribbattle chat?
No, not Evan. Kyle.
Kyle was. Oh, okay. I was going to say, I haven't seen Evan.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get Evan's. Evan hopefully will get in contact with me in a month or so, or two, because once Dillard's done and he fulfills, I gotta send off some stuff to Evan.
Yeah. He'd like to steal Evan's brain. Would his brain really be useful without his body, though?
You get in a jar like, Futurama, it might. Or,
you can't fit a brain in a jar. Well, I mean, maybe if it was a big enough jar.
Or, like Spock's brain in Star Trek, the original. In whatever contraption they had Spock's brain in that episode.
What people don't realize is the brain is not just that lump of mass in your head. It's basically your entire nervous system reaching down from your brain to your the extremities. Like, the studies have shown that there are even memories related to your muscle memory and stuff in the nerve ends.
Yeah, but if you
really wanted somebody's brain to be functional, you'd have to pull out every nerve of their body.
Yeah, but if you don't need the muscle memory, do you really need the nerve endings and all
Well, you're
that?
not sure how much of your memory is muscle memory.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you didn't have the muscle memory of riding a bike, do you think you could possibly describe to somebody the mechanics of teaching them to ride a bike? Or would your brain flounder trying to figure out what it's talking about?
Yeah, that's possible. Let's see. Marsupial don't steal anything. I'd like to steal everyone's brain, and it's possible some movie files that need updating for Scabattle 3. That's what they did in...
You need the brain and the stomach, that's right. And a bear to attach them to.
Oh, wait, Robocop 2. It said. Marsupial. Well, I was trying to say earlier, I don't know whether it changed, but I know quite some time ago, it did make in Canada at least, file sharing, which is, what BitTorrent is. It wasn't illegal. No, it could have changed.
No, file sharing still isn't illegal. But file sharing the intellectual property of somebody else and violating their copyright is internationally. It's just some nations don't, care. Like China, for instance.
Yeah. Heck, the thing is, if I had the money, I'd buy all those movies and all that. Then again, half my movie collection, I bought, well, maybe not half. I'm not sure whether I say half, but I don't know whether it's exactly half, less, or more. But I bought used, so yeah, they got the money off somebody, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, they didn't get it off me.
Right, file sharing is not the same as letting somebody borrow a tape, right?
Yeah.
Because even the legal warning when you put like a VHS in, it tells you that you do not have the legal permission to make a copy of this tape. And anytime you send a file to somebody, getting a copy of that file to send to them.
Yeah.
So what you're actually violating is distribution rights.
Actually, my friend, I have a friend who's got me to make copies of her own DVD stuff. And again, I'm not sure whether about the States, but here in Canada, apparently you can make 5 copies for yourself. Up to 5 copies of something for yourself. Of something that you own. Well, for, movies or whatever. According to what...
I don't know, man. I think that's probably going to need some digging into. Because that might be Canada's personal laws, but then it might still be violating international copyright laws.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't know how it works. So, the thing is...
I can see your link.
Yeah. Yeah, I tested it out in Dillard's because I seen it in somebody else's that linking was working, so...
Yeah, I saw the chat at the end when you were asking, but the stream ended, so I couldn't send a reply.
That's when nobody responded. And then
it was like the last thing, and you only have so long after a stream ends to actually continue chatting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems to vary on for everything.
Yeah.
So Eagle must be happy. The linking process is back.
Evil Con Carne, Episode 1, which some people might remember was the, I guess you say, sister show? Joint show? Whatever. They had to split it later on for the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. When they first came out, they were grim and evil, and it was like one bit or short for each. Because usually classic cartoons, there's like two shorts or two parts to every episode. But instead of having like two Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy or two Evil Con Carne, it was like one grim and one evil.
And oh yeah, Eagle, congratulations! You're the 100th restream message of the day, and you win absolutely nothing except for the honor of being.
Oh, really? I think you're the one who wins. Because you want that level of interaction on your streams. That's why they let you know that you've had 100 that day.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see. I don't. Do they tell you when you get to like 500 or 1,000? No.
I don't know. I've never made it that high. I think the most comments I've ever had on any stream ever was like 247.
How do you find out how many comments you've had on any particular stream?
They used to keep track. I don't think they have that metric anymore.
Oh, I can. You can what? In Marsupio?
I think he's talking about the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he completely split. Yeah, well, so Scar didn't stay on as a neighbor, because there was a little bit after the split where he was still there. He came in as a neighbor when Evil Con Carne didn't work. That was their way of keeping the character into the show. Because everybody liked Scar. Scar was a good character. And he's always making, what's it called? References to, like, that was the old me, or that's what I used to do. Or he hated his old boss. Because he was no longer General Scar, he was just Scar.
He says I can see Eagle's link. Eagle says I can post useless links again.
That was a product of, God, what was it called? It's Cartoon Friday, I think? I'm trying to remember what it was, because it was like they had like this little presentation thing that they used to do. And they would show like a bunch of shows as like potential new things, and depending on which one did the best, they would actually greenlight it for a series.
Eagle says, Marsupio always needed on. Yeah, so was I. I put in that chandelier, you know.
Chandelier?
No, I just put chandelier. I don't know the extra parts. It's like...
I actually wasn't watching. I had it on my phone. I dabbed. I was kind of busy at the time. It was like, I'll at least give him a view and retweet it. Besides, with my knowledge on Pokemon, I probably would have just won again like Season 2 Pokemon.
Well, I got there for the last couple or whatever. Couple. Hey, I don't watch Pokemon. I can't be expected to know.
I don't watch Pokemon either. I played the games.
Okay, I don't play the games either. I can't be expected to know, Chandelure or Chandelier or something like that. I got the Chandelier.
Rick, there's only like 1,000 Pokemon. You should be able to remember all their names.
Not quite, but yeah, maybe someday.
Yeah. Yeah, like I didn't even know like what was going on either because I only glanced over. I think at one point it looked like somebody was drawing something that looked close to a Croagunk, but I didn't see the drawing get finished to know what Pokemon it was supposed to be.
No, I'm only teasing, of course. Oh, unless he's talking to Eagle. I gave you the last right. I gave you the right last two. Buffering, says Eagle. No, I think I gave it to you. Gave it to Sketchbook. You'll have to rewatch. You have to rewatch the replay.
I should rewatch the replay just to see how bad some of the guesses were. Oh, I see. You couldn't hear me. I don't know if you're talking to me or Rick. I couldn't hear anybody. I just had it on muted while I was doing dinner-related things. Another reason why I wasn't able to reply to your thing because I didn't look to see when the show ended. I just looked back over. It was over. I don't know how long it had been ended by the time I was able to reply, but I tried and it's like timed out. It could have been like just over. It could have been 5 minutes for all I knew.
Okay, it was 1 point though. I'll give you 1 point. Rick, I think we need point lectures on Secret Battle. Well, the thing too is you can't watch your chat. You got to watch the chat that they show on screen.
Yep, because that's the one the judges see.
You know, that to me that is weird. That it's so different all over the place.
I think I've explained this to you before, but it's the
Yeah,
same as like in an MMO. Packet loss, ping.
yeah. I sort of get it, but it's so frustrating when you see yours on your screen at a certain place, and then you look at somebody else's, and it's a different place. Especially when you're trying to get something in the chat. Eagle did say it first, but I was trying to tell him to put both answers in the chat, same chat, and he didn't hear me for some reason. Yeah, I remember you saying that, Marsupial. Because right from the beginning, you said they had to be both in the same chat, the same line. I have to wait for Elric and Neo to guess and quickly take it.
I know historically Neo's kind of like the ringer here, right?
Yeah, Neo won tonight too, so.
Yeah, like I think he's won the most episodes of Scribbattle out of anybody.
Lapala, good strategy.
Yeah. But he doesn't always win. I actually demolished him in the Season 2 Pokemon one, and I would have had even more points if it wasn't for autocorrect. It's like I kept trying to type in Prime Ape, and it kept putting in the word Prime 8 instead. Like it was trying to autocorrect it to what it thought was the real word. It's like, no, I'm trying to put in a Pokemon name.
Neil is marsupial, baby. I can confirm that they're two different people.
That would help too. Neo probably does have the best internet out of everybody.
But also helps he knows whatever they're talking about a lot too, you know. Yeah, you read that. Neo has the fastest internet. Yeah, and like I said, the fastest internet helps only if you have the fastest brain or know the
Or unless you
information.
just start putting out a bunch of guesses before anybody else can.
Yeah, that sometimes I do that. I was putting out a few joke guesses. Forgot something here.
The real battle is for third place in Scribbattle. It's funny too, because like every, I think season one, the first one was Pokemon 2. It's like every season he just has a Pokemon one, right? And it's almost like he has his own game, but for the first episode, you're always playing Who's That Pokemon? Which was like, I don't know, I guess it seemed cool as a kid watching Pokemon, the Who's That Pokemon in between the commercial breaks, but such distinct shapes that it was pretty easy to guess what they were. Except for like Voltorb or Electro, they're both perfect circles, so that's kind of like flipping a coin there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's only one problem with that, Eagle. You don't win anything in third place.
There's Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Klefki, Brick, Lamp. You know, the funny thing is, given enough time, there might just be a Pokemon named Brick and Lamp.
Hey, Larry, how are you tonight?
Merry Christmas, my brother.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh, not much. We're just chilling.
Yeah, and I'm trying to draw a bunch of my characters for a digital Christmas card that I'm going to hopefully be able to send out if I finish it.
There you go, man. Right on. Yeah, I'm just chilling tonight. Really relaxing, not doing much of anything, to be honest with you. I'm going to probably do a couple of pre-recorded videos just on some news bits for the channel. That's pretty low-key stuff. I don't need to entertain anyone doing that,
Yeah.
Maybe wrap a couple of Christmas gifts and put them underneath the tree sort of thing. And then there'll be some, very late-night cyberpunk, to finish off my night. Then I got 2 days of work, Rick, and then I'm off until the 27th.
Oh, cool. Not that it means much being off. It's not like you can do much nowadays, right?
Well, but I mean, I've always had to work like either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. You know what I mean? I've always got stuck with one of them. You're right. 2020's put a little damper on things, but it's turning around. It's going to turn around.
But heck, you have that good Wonder Woman movie. Well, I think hopefully good Wonder Woman movie coming out, and nobody in Canada can go see it.
No.
And then they want you to pay $30 to rent it, digitally to stream it.
Well, I'm not renting it. I would go to the theater to see it on Christmas Day just for something to do.
Yeah.
I don't. I heard the reviews aren't so flattering for it, but we'll see. Again, when it comes to movies, it's always one of those things where you have to see for yourself.
Yeah. Because it's always personal taste with movies. It's subjective.
Well, like art, it's subjective, right? I could really love a movie, Rick, that you really hate, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So, congratulations to John Dillard on Baby Girl, right?
Yeah. I love Victoria.
Baby Girl number 2.
Baby Girl, man. And, I was talking with Matt Weldon because I had hit him up for a cover, and he took a long time to get back to me. And Matt Weldon, I find does take a little while to get back to people. But I sent him another message, and I was like, okay, what did I say? I said something like, hey man, I really like to hear from you. But if you're not interested in doing it, just let me know. That's cool too. Whatever. And then he hit me up finally. He's like, "Oh, sorry for not being around, man. I just had a baby, And I'm like, "Fuck, are you too?" I'm like, "Sorry, bro, I didn't know. Congratulations, and we'll talk when you're ready." But he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm in. You know what I mean?" I'm like, "Okay, that's awesome." So yeah, we'll have Matt Weldon back, and congratulations to Matt Weldon on having a baby as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago, he told me. So yeah, I was just scrolling through my Twitch. I saw the link. I figured I'd click on. I'm not staying very long here, just for a few minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no problem. Let's see. Marsupial says I should stream more Final Fantasy or Stardew Valley. I'm going to the theater Friday or Saturday. Screw the lockdowns. I want popcorn. Yeah, well, I go to the theater too to watch it on one of those days. But when you get to the doors that are locked, it's sort of hard to, go in and watch the movie.
That's never stopped me before.
Yeah, well, I doubt that they would even have the movie there to put on, so.
Oh, just bring it with you.
Yeah.
Most of these projectors are digital anyway. You can plug like a USB port into it.
Yeah. Marsupial says, should I have a baby? It seems like the thing to do.
Didn't you already do that a couple times?
But yeah, I'm certainly not going to pay $30 just to watch it on my computer.
Yeah, because here's the thing, gentlemen. I still remember the days of Napster, MIRC. There are ways to watch this stuff later. As soon as it airs on HBO Max, anyone with OBS or recording software is just gonna strip that and put that online.
I be familiar with sailing the high seas.
Right? Who didn't download, Enter Sandman at one point in time? You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear anyone saying piracy is wrong and evil. I mean, we've all done it. We've all streamed something illegally. We've all downloaded a song. We all grabbed the copyright picture off the internet that didn't belong to us. Don't want to hear it, So yeah, I'll probably be watching Wonder Woman for free a day or two later in the comfort of my own home.
Yeah.
Marsupial says, "No, that was my wife. I should have a baby." Well, that seems like
Marsupial wants to give birth. You remember that movie Arnold Schwarzenegger where he gave birth or something?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that called?
I forget, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, someone in the chat will know. Someone in the chat will know.
Yeah.
Tell us in the chat. I can't even see the chat right now.
So I can see it, so I'm keeping it.
Junior.
Yeah. That's it. I want to say Junior, but I didn't want to be wrong, so I'm glad someone else confirmed.
I know how you feel. Yeah, that was a funny one too.
Yeah.
During his kind of like a comedy spree of movies.
Yeah. It's not a puma. You sure about that?
Who was his co-star in that? Was that Danny DeVito? No, Danny DeVito was twins.
No, that was twins.
Yeah, that was his twins brother. Then he had like Kindergarten Cop, and then there was Junior. Like Metal said, he had this series of basically comedy. Let's put the action star.
No, Danny DeVito was in Junior too.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's. I knew he was in Twins. I was probably just confused because, everybody figured twins first, and then they didn't team up again.
Yeah, because you remember it was like an experimental serum that they were doing. DeVito was the other doctor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And there was also Emma Thompson, who was like the girl doctor involved. They're still trying to get triplets off the ground? Where Eddie Murphy is the other triplet?
Oh my god. I think they're a little old for that now.
I do too.
I love how Hollywood is really trying to squeeze out one last movie out of all these old fucking actors. You know what I mean? Like Harrison Ford coming back for Indiana Jones. How many more fucking Rocky movies does Sylvester Stallone got in them? You know what I mean?
Well, because they know they got nothing else but name recognition. That's all they have at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe we get Arnold to do one more Predator where he's like 80 years old. Like fuck me.
Well, you can always do driving Mr. Arnold.
Driving Mr. Arnold. Yeah.
They always have a follow-up to the Expendables series called The Expirables.
We do. We need new stars, like new action stars, new blood on the scene. Relying on the old and nostalgia can go so far, and it's fun for a while. But at some point, we just gotta look and say, man, these guys are just too old to fucking do it anymore. Like, who's next?
Yeah. Well, I think the major problem
we had is. Well, I was just gonna say the biggest new star essentially that we had for action, really for seemingly the last 10 years, has been like either like The Rock or Vin Diesel. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The problem is, unfortunately, it seems like there's no more, for lack of a better term, great actors anymore, or good actors.
I'm not sure whether I should say. The problem is we're just not getting it from Hollywood, right? Because if you go to like still decent budget movies, you go down to like the streaming services that are making original movies, you're not quite getting franchise making stars yet, but there are plenty of good action films and stuff that are going straight to these videos. It's the landscape is changing.
Who are the top 5 action stars right now?
The problem is I couldn't even name them. I've seen some good
That's
films
the
too,
thing,
but all of them are
that's the
like
thing.
they're one-timers, right? So you can't even really say
Right.
that any of them are a great action star.
But if you would ask me that question maybe 15, 20 years ago,
Easy
usually,
answers. Yeah.
yeah, fucking Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Dolph Lundgren,
Yeah. You had Bruce
Just
Willis
name
kick
them.
for a while.
yeah, Bruce Willis, sure.
Get all these generational people. I think another problem too is, especially because of Disney and then forcing others to compete with them, they've kind of been stuck in this superhero craze, which is kind of where the action genre has gone.
Yeah.
Recurring people, but they're just playing the singular role in each of these movies.
Well, your entertainment, you're gonna find it's going to be two things, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be fucking superheroes, and it's going to be Star Wars for like the next 5 years.
Yeah, so you don't get like these big stars that are playing different roles in every movie, right? Where the star itself is the franchise. They're all just like parts in a bigger play playing the same character over and over again.
I mean, let's look at it, right? Disney has, did their investors meeting. We've all heard that there's like, a dozen different Star Wars projects that are confirmed. Like this time last year, all this was rumor and speculation. A lot of it has come to fruition in one way or another, And then you look at, they're also pushing all these Marvel series like WandaVision and, the Falcon Show and the What If and, whatever other garbage that they got going on for Marvel. The Star Wars stuff looks a lot cooler than the Marvel stuff. Yeah, I gotta say,
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not really that much interested in either at this point. Some of it like might draw my attention. I might watch like one or two things here, but as far as both franchises, I'm off the train of just following the franchise.
Right, but so what's left? You have a lot of stuff that's sort of there's lots of things still out there, but we're talking like big marquee here, money makers, right?
Yeah, and then of course there's all the remakes and stuff too.
Still some pretty good franchises, but Disney has bought up quite a bit. When they picked up Fox, they picked up quite a bit.
Yeah. They own like most of the major franchises now.
And again, this is what makes me excited to bring it back to like a comic book conversation. You're going to need new material. You're going to need new characters. Yeah. You're going to need new blood. And people think it's a pipe dream that these companies are going to be looking at the indies. It's becoming more reality as each year sort of goes by. We start seeing these little indie projects, getting picked up by these streaming services and things of that nature.
I was actually talking about one at the beginning of the show with Rick. I was watching a Korean show called Sweet Home, which is made off of a webtoon. Yeah, it's a live action show too. Like it's high budget.
Well, one of the recent ones I don't know if the show's any good, but it's Warrior Nun Arilla, I think it's called, from Ben Dunn. I've
heard of that.
Press, right? Mm-hmm. So things like that can be done, and they're being done. They're not being. It's not happening in droves yet. But give it time. When when Disney owns all the properties and all these other companies need content, they have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's the fact. There's the thing too. Is we've had different indie ones, if you will. Meteor Man. Well, I'm not sure whether although he ended up getting picked up by Marvel, at least the comic book. You had Tank Girl, Spawn.
Sure.
Well, I feel like of all the places, Netflix is going to be the one to pick up more and to fund, because they don't really have the Disney stuff like the Marvel shows they were doing like they did before, and they've already started picking up like webcomics and some indie things. They're going to look to compete directly against Disney and Warner, and they have all of these already popular franchises to cut a deal with.
Yeah, man. Who knows what's going to happen? But I can tell you that a lot of things are changing. Especially when it comes to comics and the sales of comic books. I think we all know that crowdfunding was a really big success, more so than ever in 2020. You can probably attribute part of that to the pandemic and people just buying more online, but you can also attribute it to just the failing market of comic books in general, and people just looking for alternatives, and they see cool, new, exciting things, and more well-known creators are jumping on board and doing similar stuff, because you can either make the money for yourself or you can make the money for the corporation. Which would you rather?
Yeah. And it's like, the demand is clearly there. It's just the big corporations clearly weren't supplying the product.
Well, they're running off of bad market research, and this market research is telling them, hey, we all got to be woke. And that will cater to the people, and and those people will come and buy, and they're painfully and slowly finding out that strategy is actually horrible.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem too, right? And you get this in a lot of industries, where you're hoping that the person who is making the product is also the person that enjoys the product they're making. And in the earlier forms of the industries, this was true, right? Comic readers used to also be the people who made the comics. Video game, like people who played games, also used to be the people who made games. But as these industries evolve and get more and more people, they're not really a good judge of what the people want, because they've got like their own idea. And part of the market research is the people making this stuff.
Well, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Rick? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Good stuff.
You want good stuff. All right, brother.
I want a zigga zigga ah.
Now let me ask you guys, and don't say my book in this, okay, because that's not what I'm asking. But I'm asking, in 2020, what was some of the cool indie shit that you saw? Like, what was like the best of the best for you guys? If you were to name like the top 3 comic books you picked up indie-wise that you were just like, this is what we're fucking talking about, right? What would they be?
Oh, that's tough.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to spend a
Take
lot.
your time. Think about it. And I'm not talking about anything from Image, Marvel, or DC. I'm talking strictly books you picked up off of crowdfunding that made the fucking grade for you, that you would, if you were to do a top 3 video on them, right? What would they be?
Well, as I was saying, unfortunately, I wasn't able to buy much in 2020. Well, one for sure would have been Titan by Gary Shipman. I would have loved to get that.
Oh, yeah. The Titan sequel.
Yeah. Well, both of them. I haven't.
When did the first one actually get delivered to people?
It might have been early. No, it was in 2020 because he started his just before. He started his campaign just before me. His Titan 1 campaign.
Okay.
Look, I'm not too worried if it's like a month before.
No, I'm just wondering if that was a 2020 or a 2019 thing.
Yeah, I think he started the campaign in the end of 2019, but it didn't. The campaign didn't end until in 2020, and thus wasn't delivered till 2020. So it depends on how you want to define things there.
Yeah, because I didn't buy a lot either, but, Rick, you and I, we interviewed a lot of people on your show, so we've gotten to see quite a lot of books that were
okay, so Metal, 3,
around
try and name me 3 that looked really fucking good to you then. That like
I was really interested in Bric-a-Brac.
Yeah,
which the first one was late last year. I would still count it this year, and the second one's supposed to be for the winter of this year, too. Bric-a-Brac is kind of amazing. It's got like that Star Wars fairy tale theme, but all centered around Christmas stuff on a Christmas planet. And that one's definitely up there. Titan's up there too. I'm trying to think of a third one. Because there's some really good stuff.
I'm going to say Lady Death for me has...
Lady Death is always a good one.
Knocked it out. But I actually buy it and I read it, you know what I mean? So I never miss it. I'm going to throw Common America in this mix.
You know what? Yeah, I have to put that one up there too.
I got Common America 1. They're both these books, all 3 of these books I'm naming are actually being published now. That's the other cool thing. The other book I was going to throw in this list is White Widow, from Jamie Tyndall and stuff.
I'm not as familiar with that one. I've seen some stuff.
Oh, it's cool, man. Well, you can buy them in comic shops. Here's the thing. All 3 of these books, right, I named off Common America, White Widow, and Lady Death. They're so good that they're being published. Like Lady Death does Coffin Comics. They're in Diamond Magazine. All you have to do is wait a couple of months. You can go buy them at your shop for $5.99. White Widow is published by Absolute Comics. Same deal. They're in Diamond. They're in shops. And Common America is published by Antarctic Press. Right. So. So it's kind of funny that the 3 books that came to my mind are actually 3 books you can actually get in shops.
Yeah.
But they were all crowdfunded. They were all crowdfunded either on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or both. And they were that good that they got either picked up or were so big that they were able just to start their own thing and be in Diamond. Yeah,
and I think Lim and Pellegrini, they knock it out of the park with every book they put out.
Right?
Yeah.
Eagle 43 is math guy on? Yes. 7 plus 7 is 15. That is my math and my truth. I like how I'm the math guy, Rick.
The math lab guy.
If you saw me in high school, you never would have called me the math guy.
Well, it's because the one time you came on here, I think, and you're talking, or we were talking, how the money of indie comics or crowdfunding.
Oh yeah. I think I broke down some numbers. Yeah. No, I know where it comes from. It's just the weirdest reference I've ever had. It's the math guy. I've been called many things in my day. But the math guy, that's a first.
What's funny is I've actually always been kind of a math guy. I like math. I do math for fun sometimes, but nobody ever associated with me except for the people I used to tutor in calculus.
No, I couldn't do calculus, but my job is math. Like I got to calculate receipts and file reports and make sure everything balances. And if we're off by a penny, I got to figure out where that penny went. You know what I mean?
You got to figure out where that penny went so it doesn't come out of your pocket.
Well, it would never come out of my pocket, but if we're making mistakes or someone's pocketing money, that's actually kind of my job to find out. You know what I mean? We've had that too. People ripping off, people working at the hotel and playing with the fucking books. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You do some auditing.
Well, every hotel has a night auditor. This person, comes in. They work the graveyard shift. They run the front desk. But more importantly, is they calculate all the Visa receipts, MasterCard receipts, debits, all that stuff to make sure that every bit of money that you made is accountable in case the tax man does come and wants to check all your shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess I always just thought, are you the counter guy when you go in, the guy that you see, to get the room or whatever? Or
at that time of night, yeah, because it's so dead, you only need one person there, right? So I might deal with 3 or 4 customers from 11 at night to 7 in the morning. Most of my time is spent in the back office doing the actual audit or fucking watching YouTube,
They were sometimes talking to us.
Yeah, and sometimes talking to you. Like, COVID has given me a 9-month vacation. We run an 80-room hotel, and on the weekends, we're lucky if we're selling 10 rooms. We're only kept in business because we got a couple of contracts with some construction companies that are deemed essential business, and they stay with us throughout the work week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the only reason why we're able to stay open. On top of that, we have a government subsidy. Like, the Canadian government pays part of our wages, right now because of the COVID. So some people can shit on our government, but they actually do a few cool things once in a while, because without that subsidy that they're providing, we'd literally be shut down and I'd be out of a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but it would be better if, I think if they would, just let everything open up and let people, choose for themselves what they want to do.
Yeah, but people wouldn't be responsible with that, though, and we would all get sick. You know what I mean?
Well, also, the problem is, assume people are responsible. He'd still need government subsidy to be able to handle the fact that responsible people wouldn't be showing up and staying at hotels.
Well, that's just it. The tourism is what took the biggest hit because when you have these lockdowns, no one's traveling, right? So, for instance, we get a lot of traffic from the United States because, we're close to the airport. Yeah. Well, we don't have very many flights coming in, you know what I mean? So no one's staying. We would also get a lot of business through concerts, through sporting events, hockey tournaments, teams staying with us, that sort of stuff. Well, none of that's going on, so we don't have any of that. You know what I mean? We would get a lot of business from people traveling from Quebec or Ontario to the Maritimes to stay here. Well, they can't come here unless if it's essential business. And when they do come here, they have to isolate for 14 days before traveling around. We're not an isolation center, so we won't take them in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, tourism has fucking hurt.
Oh, and it would still hurt even if you weren't locked down, because you would have at least a decent chunk of people that would decide not to and self-quarantine.
Well, you would think that, but when we've eased rules here, we were starting to book up pretty quick again. Like, people are anxious to get out. They're anxious to do stuff, especially this time of year, because in Moncton we're like the second biggest city compared to Halifax, outside of east of Montreal, and so people come here to shop. They go to our malls to shop, right? So we're the hub of the Maritimes. PEI, Nova Scotia. They come here to shop even from Quebec.
Yeah. I think maybe the reason it's never gotten to that here, like people aren't that anxious to get out, because here in the Dallas area we never really locked down. So for the most part, the people who are wanting to quarantine have quarantined, and everybody else is still going around doing what they're going to do. It's kind of like balanced itself out in a way.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Let people quarantine who want to. Because we know this is, or it's very close to the flu. It's like a severe flu. There's like a 99.95% survival rate for like anybody under 60, 65, maybe even 70. The average age of death is like 82. So we're quarantining a bunch of people that are healthy. And everybody makes their choices, when they have the flu or, some other sickness too, what they do. Suddenly with COVID,
we quarantine the grandson so he doesn't give grandma a big hug and give her fucking COVID. That's why we do it.
Yeah. Well, if we had general practices for this beforehand, it wouldn't be so bad, because you look at certain Asian countries like Japan and South Korea, and they treat flu season seriously every single year, and they've handled this pretty well overall. The only problem is that Japan's been suffering is that they've had a little bit more at-home work than usual, and their system isn't set up to handle working from home over there in general. But other than that, like, as far as sickness goes, their country's been pretty fine.
Well,
and everybody just wears masks and stuff all the time.
We just got to endure this for a few more months. The vaccines are starting to roll out. We're definitely a lot more educated on this now than we were, say, back in March. Things are going to turn around. We just have to just bear it just for a few more months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's only a few more months. They don't, use something else to keep us locked down longer.
In London, they've already found a mutated strain of the COVID that had to have a different number attached to it.
Yeah, so I heard.
I don't know. I think things will be fine overall, though. We just got to give it time.
Well, if they're not, going back to what Rick's saying, like if it is any longer than a few months, and they do use this as a way just to maintain control, that there will be, a serious repercussion for that. People will.
Oh yeah.
People are already unhappy with being locked down, right? Yeah. So just imagine when this goes on for yet another year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people are tired of losing their businesses. Unfortunately, suicide rates are up beyond normal. In fact, the deaths, for everything else that's, it's affecting per se, is up, and all that. Depression is up. Everything else is up beyond normal means, or normal, what would be considered normal. So
Rick and I live here in Canada, and our rules are obviously a little different than down south. In Calgary, there was a story that was actually just released 15, young men, I would say, from the ages of maybe 18 to 21, whatever, playing ice hockey in an outdoor rink in Calgary, Alberta. And the cops were called upon them because it said that was a gathering of more than 10 people, okay? And so the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, showed up, basically harassed these kids, and you threatened to tase one guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you fucking get on the ground or we'll tase you. For what? Playing fucking ice hockey in an outdoor rink when the fucking mayor of their own city said it was cool.
Yeah. And the thing is, the way that they were trying to tackle him, they were going to end up hurting him or themselves because, that skate that he's on, his leg goes the wrong way and that slits somebody's throat.
Yeah, he was on skates. And I remember him skating back from the cops, and the cops didn't go on the ice to get him. You know what I mean? Like, I saw the video, right?
Yeah. So that's just crazy,
it's stupid. So these kids, they can't have a game of hockey. Like, it's a little bit harder to get the virus in an outdoor environment than it is in an indoor environment. We all know that. Yeah. Plus, 15 kids in a big fucking rink. It's not like they were like all sitting side by side, right?
Yeah.
But yet, a Walmart can stay open. You know what I mean? A McDonald's can have its dining room open. Like, I'm not sure what it's like in your province, but here in the Maritimes, we're in what's called yellow phase. Everything is open. You know what I mean?
Well, on the 26th, Boxing Day, everything here in Ontario is going into the gray. Northern Ontario is for 2 weeks. For Southern Ontario, it's for a month. Or so they say.
Yeah. I mean,
because you got to remember last year, March or April or whenever they started, they said 2 weeks, and here we are, 8 months later.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, at the beginning, no one understood, the magnitude of this. And, you talk about the death rate and equaling to the flu, and that's all fine and good. But, I mean, I'd rather deal with one than two chances. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well,
so now you're telling me I got to deal with the flu. Now I also got to deal with this fucking COVID. What? Like,
yeah. But then again, it's hard to say for some of the deaths. They've been fudged to the numbers. So what are the real numbers too?
Well, I mean, without real proof, it's hard to say what they did or didn't do. I mean, unless if you got the documents to show it to me, Rick, you're speculating.
Well, I've heard stories, and this was on Rebel News.
Stories.
Well, no,
that's all you heard.
No, by stories, I mean somebody comes on, TV recorded. This woman, the elective surgery, it wasn't elective surgery. Her partner or whatever had to have like a pacemaker put in. But because of the COVID, it was put off because it was elective. I'm not sure whether elective surgery or whatever. Basically he didn't get the surgery and he died because he didn't get the pacemaker put in. And they asked her if she wanted to be marked as a COVID death.
I would need to see proof of that, though, Rick, not just a hearsay story.
Yeah, well, then this is right out of her own mouth that she's telling you. So it's
okay, but I want to see I want to see this on camera or some paperwork or
Yeah, I don't know how it is in Canada. Your guys' numbers are probably a lot more accurate than ours are. Down here in the States, we know there's been a lot of conclusion with it. Even the CDC coming out and saying they had to lower the numbers themselves.
And something that's been established too is the test that they have for it, COVID, is you get false positives 50 to 90% of the time.
Well, those were the quick tests that were actually giving some invalid results, right?
Yeah.
The test that takes like a week or two to come back is fairly more accurate than the one that takes like 15 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like a snapshot in time.
You're probably going to get a lot more false positives after the mRNA vaccine, though, because you're always going to show enzymes in your system within the period in which the vaccine is viable.
I legit think I already had this fucking thing way back in March.
Oh, same.
There was like a few days where I felt sick, and one night I had the fevers and chills, and then it just sort of disappeared. You know what I mean? No, I can't say for sure. I have no fucking clue. But I had a visitor from the United States that was at my house at that time. You know what I mean? They're right out of fucking Chicago, Illinois. Like.
I think it was March. I had walking pneumonia, like a pneumonia that you could still do things while having it. Sure. And at the time, it didn't fit what people thought the symptoms were, so I didn't get tested or anything like that. But as we found out more about it and the symptoms started widening up, like I'm pretty sure, especially with who I'd been in contact with, I had it back in March.
Apparently, Marsupial Gamer is doing a live commentary on what we're doing, Rick. Shall we listen in?
About Sunfire.
Yeah, he's playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah. He's not talking about us.
Eagle's just trying to start stuff. Listen, so we're playing
Fake news.
We're playing a Final Fantasy tabletop game on Saturdays, and Eagle's here in the chat, constantly trying to get everybody in the party to betray each other.
Well, I would love to play it. Like if it fit the schedule right. I'm a big RPG. I mean, I like playing more like online, but I've done it online a couple of times. I mean, what you guys do is a fucking riot. It's funny. When I have checked it out, and I'm like, fuck, I wish I could participate. If I could just jump in like a cameo or something, but it's cool, man.
It's just the time we play. Well, I'm thinking of doing some after I get more familiar with the system, because this is my first time ever running in this system. Particularly, I usually run it either 3.5 or I've done like 1.5e for D&D. But as I get more used to this system and creating things for it and stuff, I might do some one shots, just like make a dungeon for it, and those we could do like in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's like a continuing one shot, you know what I mean? Like you do a one shot, you end the story, but you know what? Maybe a few weeks later, you take the same characters and you put them through another one shot. You just keep leveling them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we can do that. I'm just trying to get more experience with the system. These guys are basically my guinea pigs, which are both good and bad because most of them are inexperienced with playing tabletop games as it is.
No, okay, yeah, man. I've been doing that. I'd be good for that. I've been doing that since I was 14. And I'm talking like D&D second edition, right when it went from first to second.
Oh yeah, oof.
Yeah, so add in all the games that came during that period. I haven't probably sat down at a role playing game table in about I want to say 6 months, but it was probably maybe I don't know. Yeah, that probably sounds about right. And every time we try and get a game going, we get maybe 3 or 4 sessions, and then someone's fucking schedule changes or something in life happens, and the games always end up getting squashed. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Like I'm probably about the same. Last time I played at a table was my brother's first time running a campaign, and I decided to be a player. I'm used to being the guy running things, and it ended around February, and then I was going to start up a campaign, and the same group was going to play, but somebody was having family issues, so we pushed it back, and then COVID happened, and then obviously nobody got to play.
Yeah, that's just it. COVID was another big thing for our gaming group because some of the guys, they're a little bit more cautious, let's say, than others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, for one of us, we had one person who had young kids and a wife who already had to be around sick people anyway, so he didn't want to add any more. Being a guy who works at a fast food restaurant, I was like, we understand. You're already taking risks as it is. So you don't need to come over here and play games with us.
And hello.
I think I started something. Sketch therapy?
No, sketchbook. My sketchbook. 340.
Oh, I thought you said hello sketch therapy. Like sketch therapy is on the panel?
No, sketch. My sketch. No, sketchbook's just in the chat, which isn't sketch therapy.
I'm gonna call him sketch therapy, man. That's it. I think we started something here with Marsupial Gamer. Let's see here. Pretend to be commenting on Rick's streams. This is in Marsupial's chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that.
So sketch therapy says, so you're offering commentary on Rick's stream? Eagle 43, I'm going to lose all my wenches. You mean wrenches, right?
I don't know with him. I'm assuming he means wenches. Yeah.
Is no, but I like the word wenches better. I need
love the
more
word wench.
I need more wenches in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it, man. And we're all caught up to date here.
He's trying to start a stream war. He's been trying to do that for a while.
Stream Wars!
Stream Wars, have it with me, man. I'll go right into character. I'll cut fucking promos on you and all sorts of shit.
Classic kayfabe in here.
Hey,
I don't want drama.
I need some good drama to stir up for the next Niobe. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you want to start some drama, you should do it with Dillard because he's been looking for somebody to do that.
Oh, yeah?
Won't bite. Yeah.
But I think me and Dillard could have a good war. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, that would be so entertaining. I'd even help out with that from behind the scenes.
Timothy Olsen is in the chat. He says, "What is up?" We had, of course, Timothy Olsen on the show the other night, man. His first appearance, Rick. We took his rebel virginity. You know what I'm saying?
You guys were really easy on him.
I told him, man. Give us time to get used to him, and then then we can pick on him a bit.
Oh, we started picking on him right. Well, at least I started picking on him right away. I think Dillard did too.
You don't want to scare off someone the first time around. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
dude, Dillard was so the first time.
That's right, sir. Trial by fire. He's got it.
Okay.
Listen, we won't be like the war campaign. I won't ask you to send in your dick pic, though. Okay, like you're gonna be all right.
Sketchbook. This is Rebel Gaming or Rebel Comics. He does a character named Niobe. He has his own channel here on YouTube and Twitch and all that.
Fucking Rick can't say it right, man. It's Niobe.
I can't
say anything right.
Manny Summers, what do you think?
Rebel Comics is amazing. Like, what?
That's right, baby.
Ethan,
what do you think?
What a fucking asshole.
That's right.
Diversity of opinion.
That's right. Well, Roro's got something to say.
Bring him to me.
Oh, that's Liam. Fuck.
I made my way up through the ranks, motherfucker.
Taking out opponents.
Gay up by
gay
up. Motherfucker.
Niobe Wan Kenobi? That could work.
You guys are scary. Well, no,
we're really not.
But no, the first time Timothy was on, he was on for his book Melvin. The first time he had it up on Indiegogo, and we just torched him.
Yeah. We're trying to be helpful with it though, because there was like hardly anything on his campaign page, and we were asking him questions he didn't think about. He really needed more on the page. And there's just like things he either didn't know about his character that he should have, or things he did know but didn't make it available. Because it wasn't spoilers, but if you're trying to sell like a fantasy story to somebody, it's kind of like with the Hyborian Age with Conan and stuff. You kind of have to sell people the world itself.
What is busted like Conan?
Yeah.
So Sketch Therapy says, Niobe, weren't you on last time? I don't know if I was on last time, but I've been on this channel, several times.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, and he says, as for Niobe, in the spelt wrong, that's okay. I've seen it on my Twitter. That's cool, man. At least it's, being seen and getting around. I like that.
Yeah.
It's good to be seen, you know what I mean?
Yep, seen, but also heard as well.
Well, people probably would rather see Niobe and not hear me. I'm probably sure that's probably the case,
Well, I'm sure they'd also like to hear Niobe, but I don't think you have like an official voice yet, do you?
Oh, no, I've never gone that deep into things yet, honestly, because it's not that big yet, right? So there's no sense having like voice actors and trailers and cartoons or whatever yet. We're still just trying to craft the book and make the book cool, and hopefully if those other things come, then they come in good time and when we deserve it. At this point, just going from black and white to color was like a huge step. It was like a huge level up.
Yeah.
So we're just cool with being at that level now. We broke 5 figures on our last campaign. That was a big deal for us. So it's just onward and upward and push on to 2021. I mean, we got some good talent this time around, though. We got Luigi Terrell, the artist of Rags. He's doing a cover. We got Matthew Weldon of Punchline. He's doing a cover. We got CB Zhang. He's doing a cover. He does like books for Big Dog Inc. and stuff. We got Steph Wilson, same resume. We got Chris Enott, who's done covers for White Widow and Lady Death. He's going to be our big ringer this time around. And we'll see who else we grab along the way. But I mean, already, the slots are basically filled at this point. Oh, we have Joe Sula, who does like this sexy sort of Bruce Timm style, like that would remind you of 90s Batman.
I saw that one.
Yeah, so that cover's already been drawn and done. So so while we fulfill Birthright 2, we're already working on the next book. So slowly, but we start at the motions. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
See, Timothy said, I did not know what the hell I was doing when I was on Rick's show the first time. And he says, I think a colored version of Melvin #1 will be a great stretch goal. Did he mention who else was on my team? No, he didn't, I don't think.
Well, he did on the show. He mentioned a couple of names. I forgot who they were. But, he had one page done that was that looked good. My advice is have at least 3 or 4 before you launch. And I know he wants to launch like next week. I think that's
he's got lots of the black and white pages done. So, the coloring is going to be a stretch goal for him. So,
well, look, he can put in the black and white pages as a placeholder, and then when they're updated, he can change those out as long as he has some pages done, right? Because I've seen a lot of campaigns where they only show covers, you know what I mean, and there's no interior art, and so you have no idea what the book is going to look like on the inside. And if you take a chance on it, you're usually left sort of disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need like at least 5 good images, and about 4 of them should be interiors.
Yeah. Hey, Trusty, how are you tonight? Trusty Sidekicks here in the chat.
Yeah, he's the man. He helped hook me up with Randy Green of Witchblade fame, so that was pretty cool, man. Trusty Sidekick used to, I don't know if he still does, but he used to work with Randy Green drawing, backgrounds for Randy and stuff like that.
Yeah, Trusty's cool. We haven't actually seen him in the call in a while, but he used to be over in After Dark a lot. Probably been busy.
Okay, Timothy says, if the comic's not entirely done, I might delay until it is. Well, how close are you to being done? How close is the first comic to being done? Timothy?
You got to give him time, Rick. There's like a 30-second delay, brother.
Yeah, I was just, sort of...
Rick,
like
Dragon Ball Z. These guys all look like Super Saiyan aliens or something with those big triangular shoulder pads.
They do.
If I didn't know better, I would say Rick was drawing something out of Dragon Ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got a couple with the triangular things. Well, more than a couple. Let's see. Well, this one here, it looks like that, but they're going to be rounded off. Let
me go back to what he was saying though before I go about like having the book done before he launches and all that sort of stuff. That's always a good practice, and I definitely recommend that. It's not an absolute rule. I launched my book a couple of months probably before I should have, and that was because I didn't want to launch it too close to Christmas, and I didn't want to wait to the new year. You know what I mean? So I actually launched the latest Niobe a little bit sooner than I did all the other ones. Yeah. And at that point, I think we had 3 or 4 pages done that were completely colored. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so we had all the covers done, and we were starting the interior artwork, and I went ahead and launched it even though the book wasn't done. And the reason why I did that was solid, right? Like I don't have any worries of anyone walking out on me or the money not being there or the job not getting done. Like the guys that work on Niobe now, they're pretty pro, and we're knocking it out of the park. So I had no issues of launching early because I had every confidence that we're going to get it done, and we are getting it done. In fact, I just saw a brand new 2-page spread come to me today that looks just utterly beautiful. I can't share it with you guys because it's a fucking major spoiler, but it looks good. It looks good, And then But that plan doesn't work for everyone. Sometimes, the reason why I do suggest not doing what I did is because I've seen cases where artists will walk out in the middle of a project, or there's a payment dispute or something like that, right? And then, these people who donated are left sort of like wondering what the fuck's going on and if they're ever going to get their shit. And 9 times out of 10, they usually don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that, so the reason why you wait till you're done is so that you eliminate the possibilities of fuck ups to as minimum as possible. Like.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did. And the other thing is you give yourself a good buffer room. For your like, oh well, I knew I was gonna. My campaign was done like early March, so I gave myself to I think it was June or July. I said for thing. And I was a month or two late, but the only reason I was really a month or two late was I had problems getting my money from Indiegogo.
Mm. Yeah, that was weird, man. Again, that was still a weird situation because I never had an issue. I'm in Canada, and I've been through them twice, and it was both flawless. So I have no idea what to tell you on that front, brother.
Did you raise your money? Well, they had just switched to a new system. So that might have been it. Did you raise your money in Canadian funds or American funds?
See, I don't know what whatever the default was for them. That's what I had done.
Probably for Canadian.
I would have to go back and look at those campaigns to to give you a definite answer. I want to say U.S., but I'm probably wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm going to be running a campaign here in January. I'm going to do a coloring book. Something simple, easy. I'm going to set my goal low. It's not really about making money. Hopefully I do make some money. A few people have contributed pages to it. And, I've said if it makes any money, I'm willing to give anybody money that contributes pages. But I'm going to be raising it in Canadian funds just to see whether I get the money easier.
I think you probably will. I think that eliminates some of your headache. Because I think what you told me was it was a problem with how the conversion rate was in transferring money, and that was like a big hiccup and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sketch Therapy says, Rebel, do you have 2 Twitters? Rebel and Niobe, or just Niobe? I actually have probably 3 Twitters. But the truth is, it's really just Niobe Comics. There is a Rebel Gaming Twitter out there that I have, but I hardly ever log on to it or use it. The idea was I was going to have a Twitter for my comic book content, and then I was going to have a Twitter to promote my gaming content. And the truth of the matter is no one's really interested in my gaming content, so I haven't really worried too much about it. I still do my streams and I still talk about gaming, but unless if it picks up, I don't see a reason to maintain 2 Twitters, because between the Twitters, the Instagram, 2 Facebook accounts, I got 2 YouTube channels. One I hardly use anymore, but I got a lot of different sort of social media that's going on.
It's hard to keep it all up to date.
Well, I mean, something usually ends up getting put to the wayside. Something usually gets less attention than others. You know what I mean? And right now, it seems like the gaming sort of stuff gets the less attention than what I'm doing comic book wise. It's just how it is.
Yeah. Use photo reference for the baby this time. Yeah, I'm planning on it. Yeah, my baby on this that I did for the version of this before was totally whacked.
Well, I appreciate the follow. He says he's been following me for a while now. Is your name My Sketchbook 340 on Twitter as well, or do you go by something different?
I think it's the same or similar. Because he's following me on... He's got like a Transformer symbol.
Well, then he's already one notch cooler in my book. Eagle 43. Marsupial has promised to ban anyone that backseat drives his Final Fantasy playthrough. Join him and tell him what he's doing wrong.
I usually tell him what he's doing wrong, but I'm not unmuting him until I'm not on a show any longer. So I can't really tell exactly what he's doing.
The drama unfolds, man.
Oh, there he goes. His
So he's Hexram. Okay. Okay. I'll keep my eye out for you now, sir. That's what I'm going to do. You know, Twitter to me is even secondary to my Facebook, right? Like all my news really goes on Facebook, and then sometimes I copy and paste it and put it on Twitter. You know what I mean? I use Twitter as my drama feed. You know, everyone's got their soap opera, right? Like people we watch soap operas for the drama. We watch wrestling for the drama. You know, it's like theater at its most basic. And so Comicsgate is like my soap opera. You know what I mean? I'm not a part of it, but I like watching it because it's just so fucked up, man. You know?
Yeah.
I can't get enough, man. I watched this 5-hour live stream of Oz the other day. And holy fuck, I thought the whole castle was going to come apart, you know? Like, and maybe Rick don't want to talk about that stuff. I'm sorry. But I was just saying, man, you know, I watch... I eat my popcorn, you know, I'm like, you know, I have a few holy shit moments, and then I go back to doing what I do, you know?
Yeah, it's like that Michael Jackson gif. He's eating the popcorn. I'm just here for the comments.
Timothy Olsen says he bestows words of wisdom on this holiday season, Rick. He says, it's simple to cut out people who bring out the worst in you and keep the people who bring out the best in you. True. That was for a $5.99 Canadian super chat.
Yeah, we wish. I definitely wish it.
Well, I'll tell you, Rick, you got more subscribers than I do. I'm rocking a whole 520. You got 687, so you're more closer to that illustrious 1,000 mark than I am, sir.
Yeah, well, that's only for one reason. I'm not sure whether you heard. There was this thing that went on a while, or they had a channel. What were they called? They're in Canada, out of Montreal, Prusa Studios, and there was times you could go on there and get people to subscribe to you. So I did that a few times to buff up my numbers, but they're no longer doing their thing anymore. So.
That's not a good way to get subscribers anyway.
Yeah, I there was times I did it, and then there was times I took a break from it because hardly anybody from it ever comes and watch, and then although they told you it wasn't supposed to be subscribe for subscribe, it almost was, Well,
sub for sub will work in the short term for a little while. But they're not sticking around to watch your content. Eventually, they just kind of up-sub, or YouTube just gets rid of them anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Sketchbook keeps putting the comments in the wrong chat because over on Marsupial says I can count all my subs on one hand. And that sounds like it belongs to this conversation.
Right? YouTube's a long, hard grind. If I had gotten into it and had the knowledge that I had now, say 8 or 10 years ago, I probably could have made a better run of it, when things were still sort of new and fresh, I mean, for fuck's sakes, I remember going to the arcade and, Buddy behind us would have his camcorder and would film us playing Street Fighter 2, you know what I mean? And then we would have them on VHS tapes. So we were recording games before PewDiePie, it's just no one knew about it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just crazy.
Guys like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and all those sort of guys, who really capitalized on the live streaming YouTube thing, came out strong. They came out big, and and they set off basically a whole new way of entertainment. Almost laying claim to the term social media influencer.
Yeah, there's the thing is, I think I thought of YouTube for probably the longest time as cat videos. I think still people a lot of it too. But it's more than that now.
No, I was involved with it pretty early. My problem was I was never consistent, so I never grew. It would be like I would do it for maybe 3 months straight, and then I'd have like a year or two hiatus, and then I'd do it for like 3 months straight again. But I've been on YouTube since like 2007. And eventually I nuked my original channel and I started over in like 2011, which probably didn't help.
Yeah, I got some old videos that date back to like 2008. They were wrestling videos that I did. I tried to do like a wrestling talk show, and it was like in my bedroom with a cheap laptop camera and the laptop mic. You know, no OBS, no background. You know, it was rough. You know, and I was streaming it directly from Hangouts because at that time you could stream from Hangouts. You know, and yeah, man.
Yeah,
you want to see some really shitty quality? I can link you to my old channel. You guys can all have a laugh at me. And even now, I still work on making my YouTube look better. You know, when I had the Great Reset, guys, remember that when my video card fried? I was only really able to stream in 720. Now that I got this new video card, we're doing 1080, right? So it's already an up in quality, just the visuals alone. You know. I was using a Snowball mic. I went and got myself a Yeti mic, so it's not a huge upgrade, but it's an upgrade. And then just making more use out of OBS, and just trying to learn the many things that it can actually do visually. You can add in GIFs, PNGs, video clips, anything to sort of spice it up. Like let's say for Rick, right? I know Rick likes to use Meet Me, but I would actually switch Rick from this to OBS. And then have him use the Restream or whatever it is, StreamYards, to bring in his guests. But you don't go live with StreamYards; you just record it. And then what you do is you window capture it into your OBS, and then that way you can add in some sounds and some graphics. Rick could have like his cross comics,
Well, you could also switch over to Discord and have like all the same options and control.
Sure, I'm not familiar with Discord, so I don't know what they offer and what they don't. So you would have a leg up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I use OBS in conjunction with like this, just like you were saying. And instead of a lot of people use OBS and then they have the Hangouts to bring everybody in, or StreamYards or whatever. I'm just using Meet. I was using StreamYards for a while. But, if you're like over 20 hours a month, then, like I am over 20 hours a month in streaming. Easy. I do 20 hours in a week.
Let's see here. Sketch Therapy says, by YouTube switched my stream on their own. I'm listening to this stream on my TV and chatting on my tablet. Then watching Marsupio on my phone. My God, this guy is hardcore. And then when I made the last comment, it just switched tablet. This is the cool thing about YouTube, and like I'm just trying to get my mother introduced to this, is that her TV, right? She watches TV. She watches a lot of cable TV. She doesn't understand that her TV is a smart TV. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can click this button over here and watch YouTube videos, or watch Netflix, or watch Disney Plus. She doesn't fully,
grasp it.
She never, she doesn't know how to utilize it. You know what I mean? She just doesn't grasp it. That's just it, man. But it would enhance her viewing experience so much more if she knew what her devices could do. You know what I mean? Like, she has a laptop and all she does is play this slot fucking gambling game on Facebook. It's not for real money or anything. It's just something to kill the time. But that's what she does. You know what I mean? It's like people that buy a computer and they just play solitaire.
Yeah. Well, with our TV, we've had a smart TV that you can do that through, like you said. It got damaged. So, but right now we have a Roku device, so my mom usually watches my stream on the TV. The only problem is,
cool, because you would think like 15 years ago that like every one of us could be a television star now, right? Theoretically, you can turn on the TV, click on YouTube, and boom, you can see our face. Remember the movie Pump Up the Volume, where Christian Slater was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be this fucking pirate radio guy, run my own radio station, and you talk hard and say whatever I want to say."
That's us.
That's us. That's exactly it, man.
Yeah. I run a radio show full length, 3 hours twice a week. I know some people, you guys do it like every night and stuff when you can.
Yeah.
Sketch. My sketchbook. I'm gonna call him by his name now. I'm just gonna call him Sketch. Sketch says Rick needs a new camera. We need an Indiegogo for a new camera and lighting setup. You're messing with my eyes unless you are on a 65 in QLED TV. Metal, of course, you're chiming in here. We need a GoFundMe for Rick.
Yeah, you don't use Indiegogo for that. Use GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Indiegogo, you get something in return. Rick ain't going to give you nothing in return. We just need to fund Rick a fucking new setup, right? The thing is that Rick has had a significant upgrade. Rick has recently gotten a new computer, dude, and I can tell that things run a lot more smoother for you, Rick. You know?
Yeah. And I got myself shortly after that, or around the same time, I got myself a new mic. You know.
Yeah, you sound better for sure.
Yeah. So, my upgrades are coming slowly, and, I have to thank John Dillard for the new computer. He was nice enough to get that for me, so.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, he's done a lot of favors for you, brother. You got a good friend in him, Not only did he help you with the computer, but, I mean, he helped you when you had your Indiegogo issue. Dude.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. It would be a hard day in hell for me to give my info to someone in the States that I met over the internet to access my money and trust them to give it back to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a hard day in hell before I would ever do that, because I'd be so worried about getting ripped off.
Well,
the
good thing is, it's not like I just met him. It's like I've known him for at that point, a year and a half, almost 2 years. And he had done, some minor nice stuff for me too before that and all that. So.
That was straight up a solid. I mean, it's good that you have people that you trust like that, and that are trustworthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just fuck. If I was to do that with Stranger X, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If it was somebody that just came on, then I.
Well, clearly you're not even going to do it just came on. But sometimes you think people are cool and they're not. That sort of stuff, right?
Yeah,
it's the internet, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how long you've known, say, Wonk, or but he seems pretty cool.
Well,
Might be somebody
I know Wonk. I know Wonk for a number of years, right? But I still don't know him. Because to me, unless if I meet them in person, they're essentially an internet friend. And some internet friends have become really good friends, right? And they would be people I would hang out with, say, in the real life.
Yeah.
The problem is that I've also met a lot of internet friends that were just in it for whatever agenda they had, right? And if things go south or something better comes along, they're easily to stab you in the back.
So like that guy you had a beef with, or he had a beef with you a couple of weeks ago? Got your channel.
That's just it. That when my channel got struck, right? I wouldn't be sending that guy no $3,000 and trust him to give it back to me. I can fucking tell you that,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely get what you mean. People can be different people than they appear to be on the internet. I have a friend in real life. The problem is he actually thinks he is this way. He thinks he's, everything in a box of chocolates, to say it nicely. But he's a real idiot in real life, and he's a good guy, but how do I put it? He's a good guy overall, but he thinks of himself a real intellectual when he's not even close.
Jesus, Rick, I didn't know that's how you thought about me.
It's like I've been a public person since 2011, like when it comes to the internet and stuff like that. Because that's when I started going into publication and stuff. And if you're going to go to publication, you kind of have to have at least some name out there. But despite that, I'm still kind of like in that attitude from the 90s or whatever, where you never tell anybody on the internet like your full name or anything like that. Always use like an alias. Don't trust people on the internet. And I've met some pretty cool people, but it's kind of hard to break that attitude when you've been in it for so long.
Well, it's great advice nowadays because everyone is being targeted by cancel culture. So if you're going to say anything that's sort of out of turn, this is why I have three Twitter accounts. I have one account that no one's ever going to know about, right?
Yeah.
And that's just for me to spy on people and to chime in, but not get canceled for chiming in. And it's sad that that's the world we sort of live in, but that's the world we live in, right?
Yeah.
So I got an anonymous account. That's my, I don't know what you guys call it, a sock account or whatever. Whatever it is, I got that, and that's
all these days are sock accounts.
But the thing is I'm not going to go as far as say I'm a public person, but I have a book that has my name on it and my pictures in it, right? And so I'm already out there name wise, face wise. There's nothing I can do about it now. Even if I wanted to, like, you'll go incognito. People could track me down very easily. So I can't worry about that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's why I just went full public at that point. It's like, there's no point. I'm deterring what, you know? I'd rather just lay it out and deal with anything that comes through, and I think it'll just be easier going forward this way.
You know, had I had a crystal ball 10 years ago, right, and I knew all this was coming, no one would know who the fuck I was. You know what I mean? Like,
Let's see, Timothy. Well, maybe he thinks he's all that in a box and a bag of chips where you are, but around here it is a box of chocolates, or at least to some people that I know.
Sketch says, there are plenty of people I met here I chill with, Rick, Dillard, Metal, even some of the people in chat. Oh, and Marsupial, especially because bars are still open in Marsupial State. Chester Busby. Yeah, no, everyone you name there are good people. There's lots of people that I think are good people too. I don't necessarily know how far that trust could go with those people. Again, right? When you meet people on the internet, it does take a while to get to know the real them. Now, what's made it better for us is video chat, right?
Yeah, video chat's great because it feels more in person when you can actually see the other person and expressions and stuff like that.
Right, and you can spend time with them. I mean, you may not be in the same room, but it's almost like it's as close to being in the same room as you're going to get at this point. You know what I mean? I can go to an off-air hangout and hang out with all these guys and not be on stream, and that's a bigger difference too. Is not being.
You play a character when you're on stream, whether you know it or not. There's at least a slight character there.
To a certain degree, you do, and there's just conversations that you would have in off-air that are more deep and meaningful. Then you're going to get on
genuine and authentic too,
and that's how you get to know those people.
Yeah.
Who am I again? I'm just a dude that makes a comic. That's all.
I think the best chance, though, for anything, is probably having some type of convention meetup at some time, because I think that's usually the way you can get people to travel to meet each other.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole part of the networking, and people are just waiting for that to come around again. My buddy Tyler.
We had one recently here in Dallas.
My buddy.
There was a convention that went off.
Well, my buddy Tyler Carpenter, he did a meetup, and it wasn't even a convention thing, but he met up with Mr. Tim Lim, and they went out and had dinner because Tyler happened to be in the area, and so that shit's pretty cool. Now, add in the convention to that's kind of in a center for a lot of people, like a place where everyone can go and sort of converge. Yeah,
like a mecca.
Yeah, that'd be fucking epic. I'd be in for that party and go meet all you guys and shake your hands and have a beer with you. I'm in Canada. It's a little bit further stretch for me to do that, but if Niobe ever got to the point where we're getting invited to places, then who knows what could happen. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen this year, or next year now, I guess now, is the whole London Comic Con that you got invited to. We could have met up there, because London's not that far from me. I was, even with you being there, I was thinking, okay, it's somebody there that I know, let's get a table. Or get a table,
Well, I saw big ambitions of being published, and we're very close to actually meeting that ambition. And should that happen with X company, which will remain nameless now, because I don't want to jinx anything, but in theory, I could share tables with guys whose books you're seeing in shops. It's I'd probably be like one of the few Canadians. That would be with this company. So anytime I would do a show in Canada, I can guarantee you that they would probably want me to have their books on the table.
Yeah.
But that's all. Hopefully, good things to happen in 2021. X company, they want to see the second Niobe book, right? If they like it, I think the idea was to publish it as a one shot. And then they asked me if I was interested in, continuing on as an ongoing series, which of course, yeah, man, absolutely we would do that. And then we would still be allowed to crowdfund our books. So what you're telling me is I can continue to do what I do and make my money that way. Plus you'll put my book on the shelf and I might get a few extra doneros that way. Fuck yeah, I'm in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The sketch says, nah, I've made a few Canadian... I think he meant yeah. Yeah, I've made a few Canadian internet friends and totally intend on a trip as soon as the world stops their fear tactics. If
Yeah,
not,
yeah. I mean, right
if
now,
not, we fly right down.
well, I mean, our borders have been closed now for several months to the U.S. Unless if they have like a really good reason for being here, it's essential work or they have family here or something like that is going on. There are exceptions that we made for people to cross the border, obviously. But yeah, I mean, in theory, if there was a convention, say down in Boston, which is like an 8-hour drive from here, I wouldn't be able to go because I'm not allowed to cross the border. You know what I mean? Because of this pandemic.
Right, you could cross it, but then when you come back, you got to be in isolation. Like 2 weeks or whatever.
No, I don't even think they would let me enter. Like, I don't think the Canadian government will let me cross until this is done. Because I don't have a reason to be there, right?
Well, well, work. Technically, it's work for you, so.
It's not
But
essential.
it's not essential work. Yeah.
Yeah, well, some do, some don't. It's hard to say. Depends on which province you're in, really, when you do it.
True. I mean, every province is like the states. We all sort of got different rules.
You guys still
But we also sort of have like a national sort of set of rules as well. With what the federal government allows and doesn't allow, and the federal government is the one that shut down the borders. You know what I mean?
Well, they've opened them. Well, they did open them up a little bit. I know. I think here in Ontario, Ford still got them shut.
What?
The borders.
I was planning on closing them all up.
Yeah. I'm saying he's got them shut. Still.
Again.
Don't mind my mom, everyone.
Ed says he's going to teach Rick Spanish so he can say his Mexican cousins need him. Rick, Espanol, what do you think?
See?
See? Okay.
I know. I don't know grande Espanol. I know little Espanol.
Apparently, the Spanish and French language have a lot of similarities. So if you can speak French, you might be able to whittle by or understand half of it.
Rick can't even speak English.
No, this is true.
The crazy thing is, Metal, when I was taking French in school, although I must admit I've forgotten like 90% or more of it, I got higher marks in French than I did in English.
I am not fucking surprised.
That doesn't surprise. Yeah, I'm not surprised either.
Rick, it's been a hoot. Don't pollute. I'm gonna disappear now. Let you have your show back, Rick.
Well, I'm actually gonna probably end here. You want to promote anything?
Not really. I mean, there's nothing going on other than we're working hard to get books out in February and look for the new Niobe. And when we have a launch date, then I'll have something to promote and we'll promote it hard.
Well, just promote your channel.
Look at the pre-recorded videos you've been putting up.
Rebel Gaming XXX is my YouTube, so it's literally just write in Rebel Gaming, all one word, followed by XXX, and you'll find me.
Hey, Metal.
I'm always promoting a bunch of different things, but I think today I'll just go to my website, xtimeischaos.com, which I recently renewed the domain and web rights to for another year. That time was coming up. I don't know why I picked the winter time to do it right next to the holidays, but whatever. My website's renewed. You can check out everything about X Dynamis Chaos there. All the comics that have already been made, including bios on characters, locations, and all kinds of stuff.
There you go. And Rick, you got the final word, sir.
Well, I'd like to thank Naomi and Metal for coming on, or should I say Larry, for coming on the panel, talking, chatting. It's definitely made it interesting and good. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for stopping by. And make sure to go sign up for the pre-launch. Anybody signing up for the pre-launch before I go live for the comic book will get a sketch card with their coloring book for physical copy. So
there you go.
And that'll be color, but it's one of my characters. So we'll catch you all later. Bye for now. See you tomorrow. God bless.
No habla inglés.